Notes 5.3, this is day 2. We already did section 5.3 the first day, but now we're going to say solve the inequality if possible. Go ahead and take the time to write this original problem down. It's 6 parentheses x plus 4 is greater than 6x plus 12. Pause the camera every time if you need to make sure that you get the problem written down. Okay, it looks like on the left we're going to need to distribute 6x plus 24 and then keep our greater than sign, 6x plus 12. Now on day 1 we worked on getting the x's on the same side of the equation, and pretty much we always put them on the left side of the equation in case we had to graph it. Okay, so we're going to still do the same thing, but watch what happens when we subtract 6x from this side. 6x minus 6x is gone. We're going to subtract 6x from this side, and 6x minus 6x again cancels out. There are not any x's left, which means this problem cannot be solved. We can't find a range of numbers. But instead what we do is we look and see if this is a true or false statement. We have 24 left, we have a greater than sign left, and we have a 12 left. 24, that says in English, 24 is greater than 12. Is 24 greater than 12? Yes, it is. It's true. 24 is greater than 12 always. So we call this an infinite solution. And of course, I'll allow you to abbreviate it, infinite solution. Check and make sure that that is true. Because that says greater than, and 24 is greater than 12, a true statement makes that an infinite solution. But as you can probably guess, that's not always going to be the case. Go ahead and write down the next problem. 14x plus 5 is less than 7 parentheses 2x minus 3. The left side is already okay. The right side we're going to need to distribute. So we're left with 14x plus 5 is less than 14x. 7 times negative 3 is negative 21. Once again, you work with the x's first. Minus 14x from both sides. Minus 14x from both sides. Your final answer says 5 is less than negative 21. The number 5 is smaller than the number negative 21. Make sure you carried that negative down, otherwise it makes it a totally different statement. If you think of it on a number line, negative 21 is way down here. 0 is over here, 5 is here. You don't have to write this down in your notes, but if you need a visual of it, it's telling me that 5 is smaller than negative 21. That's not true. Negative 21 goes that way. So this is a false statement. 5 is not smaller than negative 21. So we're going to go with no solution. There is not a single number that you could plug in for x that would make that statement true. As opposed to this one that said pretty much any number you could think of, if you picked that number, it would be true. My favorite number happens to be 12. 12 plus 4 is 16. 16 times 6 is 96. 6 times 12 is 72. 72 plus 12 is only 84. 96 is greater than 84. That's true all the time. You can pick your favorite number, even if it's negative or a fraction or 0, and it's going to work. Every number will be greater than on the left side than it is on the right. And in this case, no number will work. Nothing can make this side of the inequality smaller than that side. We'll try another one here. Go ahead and write this down. And if you would, please go ahead and pause the video and solve the whole thing yourself. See if you come up with the same answer I do. So write this inequality down, go ahead, pause it, come back to it. Okay, you should have paused your video and already solved this. Check your math and see if you distributed the 6 and kept the negative. First step is to always get the x together, and let's get them on this side of the equation. When you subtract 12x, they disappear both times. 12x minus 12x, inverses. Negative 1 is greater than negative 6. Is negative 1 actually bigger than negative 6? You might be deceived by the numbers 1 and 6, but remember, negative 1 is way over here by the 0, and negative 6 gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So is negative 1 greater than 6? Yes, indeed it is. Therefore, we're back to an infinite solution. Negative 1 is definitely bigger than negative 6. Okay, we have 3 more problems to do. This has another same instruction, solve the inequality if possible, but this one asks you to graph your solution. Why would it ask us to graph our solution? Go ahead and write the problem down. Negative 5, parentheses, m minus 5, is less than negative 3m plus 25. Looks like we're going to distribute first. So we'll go negative 5m. A negative times a negative is a positive 25, is less than negative 3m plus 25. Like each of the problems that we've already done, plus the ones that we did on part 1 of the notes, we're going to try to get our m, our variable, over to the left side of the equation. Watch what happens this time compared to before. If you add 3m over here, our m's did not cancel out this time. We have negative 5m plus 3m is negative 2m. Negative 2m plus 25 is less than 25. So we got to keep going. We have to keep solving this. Anytime there's a variable left, you're going to have an answer. In this problem, we didn't have an answer. It was no solution. In this one, we had an infinite solution. And in this one, we had another infinite solution because every time our variables disappeared. They canceled out. But in this case, you are going to have an answer. How do we find that answer? We minus 25 from both sides. When you minus 25 from both sides, you're left with negative 2m. This side cancels, and this side also cancels. But you have to finish this equation. Your variable still exists. You can't put nothing here. 25 minus 25 is 0. It's not a blank space. 25 minus 25 is 0. So you have to finish this problem by dividing by negative 2, divide by negative 2, and you end up with m is less than 0. And that explains why it said we could graph the equation. Graph your solution. Our solution is 0. So we need a couple numbers to the left, a couple numbers to the right. No underline under there, so it's an open circle. And this arrow is going to the left, which means this arrow is also going to the left. M is less than 0. So we have an actual answer. Instead of no solution or infinite solution, your M is 0. Again, a reminder, why is that the case? Because we still have a variable. If you have a variable left, you have to graph it. Let's try this one. Go ahead and take the time to write it down. 1 minus 8w is less than or equal to negative 4 times 2w minus 1 in parentheses. Let's see what happens this time. We'll go ahead and rewrite 1 minus 8w is less than or equal to distributive property, negative 8w. Negative 4 times negative 1 is positive 4. Looks like we're going to add 8w to the left and add 8w to the left. Right there. Again, your variables are gone. We have to find out, is this an infinite solution or is it no solution? Continue on, drop down the 1. 1 is less than or equal to 4. If 1 is less than or equal to 4, then that's true. That's definitely a true statement. We have an infinite solution, which means over here, every number that you could possibly think of in the entire number line is true to this answer. Any number, you could pick 100 way out here, you could pick -88, you could pick 0.5, you could pick 3/4. All of them work, which means you are allowed to graph it, showing that every number in the number line is a solution. So both answers, you write infinite solution, you show your work right here of why is it an infinite solution, and you graph it. Last one, go ahead, write this one down, pause it, solve it yourself if you want to. Otherwise, you may want to stay with me and solve it with me because of the like terms on the right side. If you look at, you have like terms on the right side of the inequality. Let's combine those first. -2m and -3m. Notice I'm not adding the 3 over. These are on the same side of this inequality. Same side, combine like terms. Use your calculator if you have to. -2 plus -3 is -5m. -5m plus 19 over here. Over on the left, you have 9 plus 5m. I'm going to get this out of here. And now you have your greater than or equal to sign. Careful. Watch your negatives and your positives. I'm going to add 5m and add 5m. These do not cancel out. They're both positive. And one of the most often mistake by the algebra students is when you see those two 5s, you just cancel them because you think that's what we're working on right now. You have to review the old material of what we already know. 9 plus 10m is greater than or equal to 19. Minus 9 from both sides. You get 10m is greater than or equal to 10. Then you divide by 10. And your final answer is m is greater than or equal to 10 divided by 10 is 1. Carefully, don't cancel those out. M is greater than or equal to 1. You have a variable, which means you have an answer. You are allowed to graph it. 0, 1, 2. Closed circle because of the underline reminder. Take a look at this arrow. It works every time as long as you have the variable on the left. If your variable is on the left, you are going to draw it the same way, facing the same direction, greater than or equal to. That's it. That's the end of your notes. Shut it down or rewind it. Watch parts of it again. If there's something that you didn't get, go back and fill in the spaces.